Hi there. Today we're going to be talking about creating mental images, which is actually a part of the reciprocal teaching strategy. We're going to look specifically at one type of mental image, that is to say one type of strategy that writers use to create mental images. Before we get going though, let's actually look at our lesson objectives. Objective 1, to define one strategy writers use to create mental images. 2, to find examples of the strategy in poetry. 3, to understand why writers use this strategy. So that's a pretty lofty goal, and we are going to go ahead and start talking about it right now. Now, the strategy we're going to talk about is actually called sensory details, okay? And writers use sensory details for a very specific purpose. But what they are is they are words that evoke a reader's sense of smell, taste, touch, hearing, or sight. Pause the video and record a definition for sensory details, also known as imagery. And then we will go on to an actual example. Okay? Now we're going to be focusing specifically on poetry. Now why are we going to be focusing on poetry? Because poets make mental images really super obvious, okay? So that's why we're going to actually look at that when we talk about mental images. Now, this poem, we're going to be focusing specifically on the poem let me get to it, and then there we go, Crystal Cascades. Now, what I want you to do is in your notes, write Crystal Cascades. I'm going to share with you, I'm going to help you find the examples in this poem that evoke sensory details, and you are going to write them down in your writer's notebook. All right? So here we go. Soft upon my eyelashes, turning my cheeks to pink, softly falling, not a sound in the air. Delicately designed in snow, fading away at my touch, leaving only a glistening drop and its memory. Well, the first thing you want to notice is this word right here, which is soft. So soft is the first one that you'll notice. And if it'll let me write, I was using a white marker. That's why you couldn't see it. All right, here we go. Soft. Soft gives you a definite feel. And they repeat the word soft a couple times. You'll notice that delicately fading away at my touch even the word touch gives you the hint that they're talking about feelings. And lastly, leaving only a glistening drop and its memory. All of those things should evoke to you a sense of touch. Now, lest we forget, not a sound in the air is supposed to evoke the sense of hearing, okay? So that is one poem. Now what you're going to do, I'm going to show you another poem, okay? And in your writer's notebook, you're actually going to write this title, and you're going to try to identify actual words that indicate sensory details. Remember, they're words that evoke your sense of hearing, your sense of sight, your sense of smell, your sense of touch. Here we go. Oops. Let's actually make sure that I've got the right thing selected here so that we can scroll. Here it is, red beans. Next to white rice, it looks like coral sitting next to snow. Hills of starch border the burnt sienna of irony, as Zeusanas being chased by the terracotta feathers of a rooster. There's a lava flow through the smoking white mounds, Indian red spills on ivory, ochre cannonballs falling next to blank pebbles, red beans and milk make burgundy wine, violet pouring from the eggshell tinge of the plate. So you guys pick at least 5 words from this poem that evoke sensory details and record them on your paper. Go ahead and pause the video or rewind the video if you have to pick out those words. And then we're going to move on into our last portion of the video. So why do writers use sensory details? It's simple. I have an idea in my mind about what the red beans and rice look like on the plate. I want you to see the same image that I do. So I don't call it red as blood, I call it red ochre. And if you know what ochre means, it evokes a specific color in your mind. So it's making a connection between the reader and the writer, and that's why you use sensory details.